so beautiful is having a massage. That looks quite nice, Doug. Is that a regular thing for your horses?
It's a regular thing for him and a couple other ones. It just seems to relax him a little bit. Anything we can do to relax him is a good thing for him. We gelded him over the summer. He showed a lot of ability last year. Was just a little high-strung at the races and probably didn't show his best ability last year. So we did geld him over the summer, and we're hoping that does the trick. And he is a talented horse that should run well during the carnival for us.
You know, Group 3 winner, I think, over in France, and he did show flashes of ability. As you say, he just got overwound up, didn't he?
Yeah, he was wound up going to the and in the race he was just always kind of shying away from the other horses, not so much hanging. He was just getting away from them, and just his mind wasn't on the game really. And I think that comes a lot with the Zamidar. They say they're pretty high-strung animals in general, so I think it's just part of the breeding on them. But he seems a lot more relaxed this year. He's always going to be a little hot at the races, but hopefully when you get him into the race, he's a little more straightforward and a little more focused on the races. So, you know, we're looking forward to him. He's a very talented horse that he'll probably start in a handicap off at the beginning. He went down to 108 in his handicap, and there's a 9 furlong race or a 10 furlong race early in the carnival that we're kind of pointing towards. So, but we're on course at the moment.
And he's still very lightly raced as well, so
yeah,
he
is.
plenty left.
Yeah, and he did have a couple nice efforts against some nice horses in the carnival last year. If the gelding helped just a little bit, you know, he was also 3, just came 4 last year and was lightly raced. So with more racing, you know, possibly he could just improve enough to get into some of those bigger races on World Cup night. So we'll see.
I think one of the most consistent horses in this yard is Famous Warrior. He's just been a lovely horse down the years for you, a real front-running sort and very genuine.
Yeah, he is, and he is just one-dimensional though, so he always makes it a little difficult. But yeah, he's been good to us, and he had a horrific accident just before we started the season where he decided to get loose and try to run up the ramp where the skips are for the garbage, and fell in between them and cut himself up really bad. We didn't know if we'd have him back, but he just worked up the hill the other day very well, and he's very close to being able to run, and we're just looking for a spot for him now. But we were a bit worried about him for a while, but he's come around nicely, and yeah, he's a lovely horse to have in the yard.
And he does go at Jebel Ali as well, doesn't he? So
he trains well up there, sorry, but he doesn't
you
run.
Don't think he
no,
goes,
he just hasn't run a race up there yet. We've tried him. We take him up there to train sometimes, and when he works like a monster. But when he gets in the races, he just doesn't seem to enjoy it as much. So we'll be looking at Maidan with him, and if we can get him in the carnival, we will. But maybe spring meets, and we might even switch to the turf a little. He had a good run on the turf last year, so we'll look if we can get him up to the right rating, if we can get him in there too.
So you need a low draw mile race and a jockey with a good clock in his head,
yeah,
really.
A lot of things have to go his way. He's very talented. He's a half brother to Green Coast, who was one of our best horses here ever, and he might be more talented than Green Coast, but Green Coast was a lot more versatile in his races and maybe just a bit more genuine in his races too. But this guy's still got some talent, and we'll see what happens. But it's just glad to have him back. We didn't know not until probably 6 weeks ago did we know that he was going to make it really back to racing. I tried to let the owner know, and he's in Scotland at the moment, but that I didn't want to say too much because I didn't know if we were going to make it back. There was not much else to do but other than try, and he's done well. So hopefully we can get him the rest of the way there, and he runs a big race for us at some point.